3 videos in to my Road to Moab video series, and I don't think I've really accomplished much. The first video, you saw me pick up the Can-Am, you saw the few things I've done to it, my quick little walk around, and I explained this video series. The second video, you saw me put my 3 kits together, my repair recovery, my survival kit, and my first aid kit for Moab. This video, I'm actually going to make some progress. Intro. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Big Apple Ranch. Today we're out front of my shop. I've got the tank here, and we're actually going to make some progress in this Road to Moab video series. What I've got for you today is a rear view mirror for the tank, side view mirrors for the tank from Chupacabra Off-Road. Got these on Amazon. I've got the fire extinguisher and fire extinguisher mount that I went over in the last video. I've got a white Rotopax and a Rotopax mount for some spare water. And I've got the street legal kit from Super ATV. This should have the switches, wiring harness, and lights that I need for the turn signals, hazards, and horn to make them street legal in Moab. I've got a street legal kit for the Honey Badger coming from Corbin Customs. It's a pretty sick kit. I can't wait to show you guys. But today it's all about the tank. The other project I've got today is taking this 42-inch high lift jack and mounting it to the tank. I did not get high lifts roll cage mounts for the jack. I kind of wish I did, but I think I figured out a solution. I think if I take these conduit clamps with some, probably a bicycle inner tube, I should be able to use 2 or 3 of these, drill that out to a 1/2 inch, and use this to mount that high lift jack. It's 30 pounds. I'm not too sure if those are going to get the job done. We'll see. I'm going to start with the mirrors for the tank. Start easy. I'm not going to show you how to install them. They're not a how-to. This is not a how-to or an install video. This is more of a, I'm working on my machine. So I'm going to time-lapse all of the parts going on. I'll stop at any of the cool parts or anything I run into, and we'll talk about it. But I'm not going to show you how to do it. You can find how-to videos on YouTube. This is just me turning the tank into a street legal beast. The first thing I'm going to have to do is take these Rotopax off of the side pillars, the C-pillars. They're not really where I want them, so I'm going to probably try to relocate them to that back rack there behind the driver and passenger. That's another project too. So let's get started. So I just tried putting on this rear view mirror, and it's a prime example of you kind of get what you pay for. The Kawasaki Mule kind of has a strange roll cage size, and these are just slightly too big. Like when it's all the way tight, it doesn't move, but it doesn't take much force to move them. So I've got a bicycle inner tube back here. I'm just going to wrap around and kind of take up some of that space and clamp down onto the inner tube. Hopefully that stops it from moving. But another thing that I forgot or didn't know or wasn't thinking about for the Mule is it's got a grab bar right here in the center. So I can't center this rear view mirror. It's going to be just to the left of the grab bar on the left mount, favoring the driver's side just a bit. It looks like it'll work, but it's just one of those things. Know what you got before you order parts, and you do get what you pay for. Cheap is cheap for a reason. Here we go again with don't buy cheap stuff. We'll see if the time lapse caught it. It might be a little too quick, but I didn't touch it. I just tightened up this mirror, and as I was walking away from the mirror, the clamp broke. So you get what you pay for, man. Guaranteed. I'm gonna have to come up with some other way to do this, because this ain't gonna work. The mirror itself and the hardware is all okay. That's fine. It's just the clamp. The clamps are plastic, and I must have had too much force on there. It was fine. I walked away to get a socket, came back, and I heard it from in the garage. So if you get these Chupacabra off-road mirrors, don't crank them down, I guess. So that's the mirror install, guys. To be honest, the center mirror, the rear view mirror, it's just a universal kit, so it'd probably work for you, but I would not probably buy these Chupacabra mirrors again. Kind of flimsy, and once they're installed, the clamps are either too big or too small. If they're too small, they break. And the mirrors are designed to probably fold in if you whack something, but there's not a whole lot of retention there. So I'm sure going down the road, they're gonna rattle out of adjustment. You know, it's better than nothing. We've got some mirrors, and as far as the law is concerned, they're mirrors. We're good to go. Next, I'm gonna work on mounting my high lift jack to the front bumper of the machine. Well, that's it for the jack mount, guys. I just used these two number 4 1.5 conduit clamps. I drilled out the hole to be a 1/2 inch hole. I ran a 3-inch 1/2 inch bolt, 3-inch long, 1/2 inch. I spaced it out with some tubing because the threads didn't go all the way down to the head. Spaced it out with a little bit of tubing. I used the old inner tube trick to try to save underneath of the clamps. And then I pushed the jack down. So you can see here, the jack doesn't really want to move, and if it's going to contact this bumper, it's just going to be on this clamp part right here. That's all that's really touching. Everything else seems secure. I've got the jack handle holder. we're good to go. I don't think that jack's going anywhere. It would take quite a bit to drop that jack, I think. I Loctited everything except for I've got wing nuts on the front holding in my bolts to the jack. The only thing I probably am going to change is I'm going to get a 2 1/2-inch split lock washers for the mounts, but there it is mounted. It's a little heavy to have in the front end. It's about 30 pounds, but this engine is pretty far back. I'm kind of hoping it balances itself out. So that's it for the mirrors. That's it for the jack. I still have the fire extinguisher mount. I still have the turn signals and horn, and I still have to figure out a solution for my rotopacks. I'm gonna get going on the fire extinguisher mount next. Alright, we got the fire extinguisher mounted. It's got a little bit of wobble between the 2 brackets, but it's a sturdy mount. It's not going anywhere. The other 2 hose clamps that came with this, you're gonna have to replace those unless you've got a massive roll cage bar. It was too short. I got to the end of the stroke and snapped the clamp. So I just ended up running a 2 1/2-inch hose clamps here. Hose clamped it to this C-pillar here. The hose clamps on the fire extinguisher work real well. The bed still lifts and lowers. I did Loctite this button, so the body of this button, let's see if I can focus. The body of this button right here, this is one assembly. It threads out, and it's easy to thread it out, so I just Loctited the threads so that it doesn't want to pull itself out, but it works great. You pull that, you lift up, you're done. Slam it in, pull that, lift up. Pretty safe. It's not going anywhere. It might rattle a little bit, but it's not going anywhere. Now I just figured we'd go through this kit real quick on camera. You open it up, they sent sticker sheet, some rhino axles, stuff like that. Another little loose sticker. Just toss those over here. Instruction booklet. It's good to check out, but it's not incredibly detailed. It tells you where to put things, but I guess it's pretty detailed. I take that back. Pretty detailed instructions. Right here we got a wiring harness. This is rear wiring harness. They do have an optional license plate light, and I have a license plate holder coming from Corbin Customs. It's not here yet. Front harness. This is your horn. This looks like lights, LEDs, and switches. So for the front on this kit, you've got to drill, looks like 3/4-inch holes, probably in your fenders. Maybe, yeah, somewhere in your fenders you got to drill 3/4-inch holes for your amber turn signal lights. Look like there's 2 per side. I'll have to check the instructions. I've got 3 switches. Turn signal switch. That's just a 3-position rocker. Hazard, 2-position rocker. Horn, this should be a momentary. And it is. It looks like either up or down, momentary switch. I've got, they sent some hardware. A lot of hardware. Pretty much all the hardware you probably need. And some zip ties. Some dielectric grease. And this is your computer. This is your main controller. I'm sure this has got your relays and everything in it. This controls the lights. It's all labeled. Rear, front. ATV control box. So this is probably power. Horn switch. So they set you up. You've got everything you need right here. So this should be a fairly straightforward install. That was quite an install. It's pretty much brain dead. It's idiot proof. They've got everything labeled. It's a pretty good kit. It's just running wires. Tedious, time consuming no matter what you do. Everything's hooked up. I haven't tested it yet. I've got some cable management to do, but I got Beanie in the cab and she's gonna test it out. Hit the horn button, Bean. Horn. There it is. All right, push the arrow button, push it up. So up should be right. I've got my ambers flashing and I do have rear flashers. Let me see, is up supposed to be a right hand turn? Yes. All right, now push it down, Bean. Let's go down. All the way down. One more click down. There it is. Left ambers. And my left rear light works. So I'm going to deal with some cable management. And then it's on to figuring out how I'm going to mount these Rotopacks. So I've changed my design a little bit. I've got these aluminum plates that I drilled holes in. All I'm gonna do is center it right here, tighten it down real good. I'll do one here, one in the center, one over there. Try to spread out that weight evenly so that it's not to one side or the other as much as possible. And we'll have our Rotopacks mounted and good to go. Well guys, we finished up the mule. We got these Rotopacks mounted up to that squared tubing on the bed with my custom little brackets I cut out, drilled a couple of holes. I got the D-ring, that's mounted down in here. The D-ring's mounted, I've got my ratchet strap holding down my toolkit. So for now, that's everything I had for the mule. You saw the turn signals, the street legal kit install with the horn, the mirrors. I've got my 2 fuel Rotopacks, 1 water Rotopacks, and I've got some tools. Other than a spare tire rim, spare tire mount, a couple other odds and ends, maybe a new windshield. We're pretty much done with the mule. A whip with a flag. We'll be pretty much done with the mule, and we're gonna have to move on to the Can-Am. So thanks for checking out the video, guys. Stick with me on the road to Moab. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm out.